Aromatic Roses, where a couple of Midwest women cultivate a community at the D&D table. I'm Caitie.
And I'm Soren. And today, who are you?
Oh, I'm Laura.
Okay, say it again.
Yeah, I'm Laura Lynn.
This is Laura Lynn. We're going to talk with her today. She's a very seasoned, let's say, eldritch,
I am an
D&D witchy woman. She's the person who got me into D&D. She's excellent. She's full of magic.
I try.
Yes, Laura Lynn, welcome. Thank you for hanging on the couch with us.
Yes.
Now that we're actually doing like videos and stuff.
I love it.
But yeah, so we can just like run away with it and start jumping into questions if you're ready.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know we were briefly talking about this right before we got started, but tell us how many campaigns you've played in before.
Well, I started playing D&D 7 years ago.
Wow.
I think. So I have been in 17 campaigns since then.
Holy cow.
Of varying lengths.
17 campaigns.
Yes,
Holy
17 campaigns.
17.
So what keeps you coming back to playing? Like, why have you gotten to 17 campaigns? You must like it a tiny bit.
I do. And I play a wide variety of things. I don't just play D&D. So within those 17 campaigns, I have done Starfinder, Pathfinder, Mutants and Masterminds, which I don't recommend. It's a super fun campaign because you get to play superheroes, but the mechanics of it are just a mess.
Right.
Sure.
What else have we done? Savage Worlds, the like Deadwood version.
Oh, sure, I've heard of that one.
So, part of the allure for me is trying those new systems, trying those new campaigns, and seeing what is new and different. But overall, I just absolutely love character creation. When I started playing D&D, it was right after I got a divorce, and it was a very difficult time for me. And I found through creating my very first character, I was able to kind of bring in those aspects of myself that I wasn't really feeling at the time, and get to kind of explore that bit of personality. And so each character that I've created since then, I've sort of thought about like, okay, where am I feeling insecure right now, and how can I explore that in this character?
I love that.
So I believe D&D and role-playing is a great way to kind of explore therapy in a different way without it necessarily being talk therapy. So it's been a therapeutic thing for me.
Yeah,
Preach.
you're preaching
Whoa.
to our choir. We agree. We agree. That is amazing, and I think I've heard you talk about before, like when you got into D&D after going through your divorce, but I didn't realize the level of impact that like D&D had on you and that experience, and like as like a therapeutic vehicle in a way. And that's just really cool to know like another layer of that.
The like intentionality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
I think we talked about it before for like our characters and like kind of subconsciously trying on aspects and like personality traits that we don't currently feel in ourselves, but like being intentional about it of like, I want to grow specifically this part of me and building that into a character.
So like, how can I use a character that I might play for several years and then understand how to like utilize that skill?
That has been so weird because I've only had one campaign last multiple years, and I'm still in it right now. And when I started, when I created Vashti, I was like, I want to play a super mega intelligent wizard, because I've leaned towards playing dumb characters because I feel like I don't fully always grasp my ADD in a game. I'm like, I miss so much. Like, I don't know what's
say that
happening.
again.
Yeah. So I wanted to try and challenge myself to play a character.
There she is.
There's your cool.
Sorry about that. She's like, this couch sucks.
I must destroy it. No. But then like proceeding for 3 years now, we've been in this campaign, I've had to really work to try and figure out new things about Vashti.
Sure.
There was a stretch in there where I was messaging our DM like every week going, I hate this character, I hate her, I don't want to play her anymore, I don't know what to do. And then kind of re-falling in love with her has been in the last year or so of the campaign. It's been a really interesting journey.
This is Cora's first appearance on the podcast officially.
Welcome to the podcast, Cora.
I don't want to downplay what you just said, though, because that's really cool. Because I was listening to you saying, like, I hate this character. I don't like where this is going. But you also, like, made the active choice to be like, no, I'm going to pick a smarty pants and, like, I'm going to do it. And I think that's a really good practice in, like, resisting your tendency.
Yeah,
and, like, just going ahead and playing something that's maybe just not your wheelhouse immediately. Yeah. Oh, she will love you forever. Welcome, Cora, to the podcast.
Yes.
She's here, guys.
The internet star.
The absolute internet
Hi,
star.
sweet pea.
Hello, baby.
She loves being a part of the podcast. She visits us on all of her breaks when we're recording. And she's a great spokescat. Yeah.
And now she's here.
And now she's here forever.
Really in
Now
person.
she's my best friend.
Yeah, she absolutely is. So thinking about those 17 campaigns and all of the things in between that you've done, do you have a campaign or a system? Well, I'll ask both. Is there a campaign that's been your favorite? And then we'll kind of switch into, is there a system that's your favorite?
Campaign that has been my favorite. Oh my gosh. I think the first one I ever played will always hold a special place in my heart. I did an online Curse of Strahd campaign.
That's what you led me through when I first started.
Yep. Oh, Strahd. And I don't know that the campaign itself was my favorite, but the character and the growth of the character and the DM did some really, really interesting things that changed the pre-written module to bring in more of our characters' backstories and really tie them in better, because sometimes that's difficult with a pre-written module, to bring in character stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that one I think will forever just hold a really special place in my heart. The one that I'm playing now is the one where my friends, we decided to do our podcast too.
Yeah.
So shameless plug for Do We Level Up.
Yes, Do We Level Up is Laura Lynn's podcast.
Yeah, we're not great about editing or getting things out on time, but it's fine. We get there eventually.
That's okay. You're putting it out.
And so that one is super special because this is the group that's stuck, and we've been together for 6 years now.
Cool.
Across different campaigns, and our DM, this is a fully homebrewed one, so it's my first kind of full homebrew long-term campain, and that one will always be very special as well.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Now systems.
System, I go between D&D and Pathfinder.
Okay.
I just think the D20 system is the easiest to comprehend. There are so many tools out there now that make the game way more accessible than it was initially.
Absolutely. Even since I started playing, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. I may not always agree with some of the politics and decision making from a
Sure.
That is tough once it's owned corporately and
from
has
the corporations,
things they have to say and do. Yeah.
But I think those two systems lead themselves to be really, really fun for new players. They have a lot of creativity. Pathfinder has so many options, so you can really build a strategic character that doesn't feel like out of a cardboard box.
I was going to ask, what is it you like about Pathfinder more than D&D, and then maybe vice versa?
Yeah. I think the options in Pathfinder is something that I really appreciate and like. You can really customize your character. You can in D&D too, to a point. Yeah. On the same vein, the options in Pathfinder seem endless and can be a little bit overwhelming for new players.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
The first time I ran through it, I was like, I don't know what's happening.
What is all of this?
I have 16 feats and I don't know what any of them do. So, yeah. And then D&D, I think, I don't know, they're at the same level for me now, and I think that's probably because I've played them both so much. But there's just something cool about being able to pick up some dice and roll a character and start telling a story with it in either vein. Get that tree.
Yeah.
Get it.
Get
that motorcycle.
Screw Christmas.
So yeah, I think I love them both equally.
Sure. How do you? I just have to ask. How you feel about Daggerheart?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's coming from Critical Role?
Yes.
Yes. I signed up to be on the pre-list, and so I'm waiting. because I'm very excited.
Okay,
yes,
then
yes,
I have another question. Continue.
Yeah. So no, I'm really excited about it. I'm always excited about new creators creating things.
Yeah.
And
it's based on the D12, right?
yes. I don't know a ton about it. My friend just sent me the link and said, sign up for this. So
You were like, yes.
I will do this. Yes. So now I'm just kind of waiting for more info, but I need to do more research. But
I'm also excited for it.
So I texted Caitie the other night and I said, have you heard of MCDM's system that they're putting together? It's like Matt Colville. And TJ just showed me like the beginning of the video, but I feel so excited for it. So he's building his own system with, I think, his team, crew, whatever they would do over there. I'm not super familiar with like all of the resources and game materials that he makes, but I'm very familiar with a lot of his like relational and like cultural like content when it comes to D&D. But it looks so good and fun. But I'm interested to ask two people who are a little more seasoned in D&D. Just kind of want to talk about what the combat might look like. So they are not going to have an initiative order, and it becomes a team decision. And the bad guys also get to do that. So there is a who goes first, bad guys or the heroes is how he just like shortened it. And then of the heroes, you get to like strategically decide, okay, who's going to go first. And no matter who like goes first or no matter whose turn it is, everyone has a chance to like shine. Like in a way he was making it, like the way he was describing it was, no matter what happens, I will get a turn. If it's not now, it's not going to be me just rolling a dice, missing, and then waiting for another 10 minutes for like another round for myself. It's like I'm talking with my other party members and collaborating with them about like what strategically we want to do. So I would just love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think my initial thought on that is I'm really intrigued by it. I think there's something... I like the initiative system, but there are times when you're there and you're like, oh man, if I could have just gone before this person, it would have been an epic moment. So I think it can lean itself to having some really cool moments that way. I think it's going to work better in a established group.
Sure, of people who like communicate well with each other.
If it's a new group and you have a lot of like outside of game talk or table talk or things like that, it might be challenging to keep people on the same page.
Sure.
Or come to consensus.
So. I feel that. We have not had a chance to really play a system outside of D&D, but I liked the Adventure Zone Amnesty with the Monster of the Week. I always thought that sounded interesting as a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That is one that intrigued me. And then my dad... Hi, Michael. Plays a lot of Fate. Have you played Fate before? He can explain it way better than I can, but it is like less choices, basically. I think it's rules light.
You've described that before.
And I think there's also like Fate light, and then there's like the full Fate and all of that kind of stuff. But you get like... he's gonna drag me over the coals because he's explained it so many times.
Michael's coming after you.
It's just like you take like almost like exhaustion points, but if you do something cool, like it takes a toll. Like there's like
yes, yeah,
you know what I mean.
There is a cost for like the cool thing you just
did. And I feel like even as somebody who's played D&D for like 4 years, I still feel like I just got a handle on the like rules and options and
there's more options,
everything for that. And so like that's I think my only hesitation whenever we start talking about new systems is like oh man, another set of rules. Can I hold all that information?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so. So
that's totally fair. But I wanted to get some of your guys' thoughts on it because I think there's a crowdfunding campaign for it. So I think TJ and I are gonna back it a little bit, but we'll keep you posted. And we'll absolutely like shove the books in your face and be like, what do you think? Look.
I'm always here for different variations of like the initiative rules or combat, because I do think like D&D, the one thing, combat can become a complete and utter slog.
I love it,
but it takes forever.
Yes, 100%.
And the one system that I really liked that I think does combat really well is the Savage World system.
Okay.
Because every single round of combat, the initiative changes based on cards that the GM draws. So you're never sitting like knowing, oh, I had really crap initiative, so it's going to take forever to
or
get
you
to
don't
me.
know exactly like I have this many turns before I'm going to go. It's like they could draw you twice or something like that.
I do like the like random quality of initiative order, or like that sort of a system, because that gives that like, I mean, if it's bullet time, there's not a lot of like, well, which one of you wants to go? Like, it's like you just happen to do your thing first, you know, like that sort of a thing. I do like that.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Yeah. That's super cool. We would love to know though, because you are not only a D&D player, you are also a DM. And in fact, when you introduced me, you were DMing a Curse of Strahd campaign. So tell us, do you prefer one or the other, and why?
Absolutely. I prefer playing.
I feel like that's an answer every DM has.
Yeah. It's super hard to find a DM, so if you have somebody who's willing
I'm not
to
responsible for everyone.
But yeah, no, I enjoy DMing, but it is a lot of work. And again, I think this is where my ADD kicks me in the butt, is that I just did not prep. I don't have the mind power to prep for things. And so everything was 100% improvised. I'm like, I have a general gist of where this is going. I've read the module. I will never ever be able to homebrew anything. Sure. My brain just will not let me do
I will say, like, and we can poke TJ about this later, but like when I see him prep for session, he like writes novels to himself and like writes tons of post-its to put all over his DM screen. And then I see people like you and like Sam who are like 5 sentences.
Sam writes 3 bullet points on a piece of paper.
This is where we may be heading. Yes.
Right.
And like, perhaps. But I think that is also like you, and I would say Sam as well. Like there's a little bit of fun in the like, I have a general gist, but I'm okay with it not going exactly the way I planned it to go.
I think Sam mentioned this on the episode that he was on, but it's just like he has the like main plot arc in his skeleton head. But the day-to-day sessions, what we're trying to accomplish within each session is much more loosey-goosey. And then like Grant took a turn at DMing, and I think he also found like, oh man, the prep is just out of this world. And you hear so many like diverging opinions about that. You've got Matt Mercer, who preps a ton and has monologues written and all of that kind of stuff. Then you have Brennan Lee Mulligan, who is like improvisation king.
Chaos incarnate.
Right.
That man.
Right.
Who is a stabby cake man.
And they're both great. Like I both like watching both of their
100%.
styles. So it's like very much what works for you. But I mean, I say that not ever having DM'd.
Yes. And I think it's an experience that honestly most every player should try at least once. It's just a peek behind the curtain to really understand. And it gave me a huge appreciation for the DMs that I get to play with. Just knowing the amount of work that goes into it. Because I think sometimes it's easy to show up at the table and be like, this is super fun, and never have any idea of just how much work that DM did.
Yeah, and we've talked about it in one of our like earliest episodes, is like what makes a good player. And it's like, yes, we only have, like Katie and I only have the experience of being players and attempting to be good players at the table. But I think if either of us got put into a DM space, I think we would even more so understand.
Yeah. Well,
what do I need from my players?
I think even just being proximity attached to a DM gives you a certain amount of appreciation, not fully, but a certain amount of appreciation for that role. And I mean, the takeaway that we had out of that first episode was like, the last of be kind, do all of these things, take notes, whatever, and then like just like give a shit.
Yeah.
Like you need to give a shit. And if you don't give a shit, it's not just like you're gonna get what you put in kind of a thing, but it's also like out of respect for the DM that's prepped
the
and
literal,
is, you know, working
part-time job that is like prepping for a campaign.
Right.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
must give a shit. Right.
Well, I think I had one that I was thinking outside of this one, but okay, I'll ask that one later. No, I'll ask that one now. What would be your number one tip for like a brand new player?
maybe, okay, don't read the player's handbook cover to cover because it's massive. So don't do that to yourself.
10 years.
You heard it here first. Don't read.
I mean, but there are so many just like quick and easy guides that you can find online.
Sure.
Familiarize yourself with the world, with the rules, but make the characters something that you care about. It's also super easy to just kind of throw something together, but if you really have a genuine connection to your character and care for your character, it's going to make the role playing and the moments in the game so much sweeter and more emotional because you really, really care about the character that you made.
Yeah,
totally.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's very helpful.
Have you ever dealt with conflict at the table?
Oh my god!
And how have you dealt with it?
Like conflict, are you starting to go into the meta thinking about it, like conflict that maybe characters are in conflict but like the larger
I mean, kind of both.
Okay,
I think we've had discussions about having like in character arguments, but then like bleed exists, and then like how do you deal with that?
but like Katie's coming through a little too much,
right? But then also like we play with nothing but friends, so we don't have to experience like inner player conflict so much.
Right.
I have. So when I first started playing D&D, I played pretty exclusively online. So I found games on Roll20 or things like that. And so that is a very different space when you're with a group of people that you maybe have never met before.
Right.
And so when I said like the campaign I'm in now is the group that's stuck, that is because of that conflict.
Sure.
So we went through very different iterations of different groups of people, and sometimes they meshed, sometimes they didn't. And there was one particular campaign where almost all of us at one point in time were like, I'm done, I can't do this campaign anymore, just because of the amount of kind of like, it felt very punishing. The DM at times felt like he was purposely punishing us.
Neat.
And it was tough. It was really hard to get through.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I am a conflict avoidant person.
So you just kind of
I would like hide back and be like, ugh, I feel very uncomfortable. And the DM, who is our current DM now, was not the DM of that campaign, but he would message me on Discord and be like, you need to say something, like you need to. And he would encourage me to actually like speak my truth and bring these
not be
things up.
conflict avoidant.
And not be conflict
Sure,
avoidant.
okay,
And I have grown so much since then that now, if there is like, we're friends, so there are going to be moments where we're like, you pissed me off today in session, but then you sit, you let it go, and you talk about it afterwards.
Right.
And you know that no one's doing it to be vindictive or mean in like on purpose. It's stuff happens, but we talk about it after game, and it's always generally good. Our DM has also instituted like kind of like in soccer where they've got yellow cards, red cards, green cards. And if something comes up, we just put a red dot in Discord, and he immediately stops the game and is like, okay, pause, we're going to talk about it. So it gives us players the agency to be like, I need to pause. This is triggering me, or something is going on.
Sure.
And it has worked really well. We've never had to use it so far, but it's a great.
Sure, it's a great option to have in case something comes up. Yeah, we've like lightly talked about it because we've talked about what we could do, because I don't think we necessarily have a set down structure for that kind of safety tool. But yeah, just having the option would already make me feel a little better.
We just Sam and I have talked about this briefly in our marriage. And we both have kind of the group A started, relatively small. And then as it's grown, it's not included anyone who is on the cusp of friendship. We're all such close friends that I feel like Sam as a DM feels like he knows kind of everybody's limits. And Sam also as a DM is listen, I'm not trying to have sexy times with y'all as player characters or anything like that. That's just not our vibe. Yeah. So
and if it is it's a very much off screen. Yeah, this happened.
And then the door closes. What happens? You decide. That sort of a thing. So I feel up until I mean, we haven't even crossed anything. The worst that's happened is we had player characters die.
I was like, don't go there.
but like that's it. Like we've never
You're
crossed into like
anything that's been like, at least to me either, like has been too triggering or has been like too much.
Right.
Yeah. The only, and like you just really can't avoid like potential character death unless your specific table is like, we don't die in this game.
Right. There's like different, like we're playing a low stakes game. This is not world altering kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't implemented those things yet, I guess. Did you think of your out of list question?
No.
Dang it.
It was, hold on, I'm gonna look at this list of questions again. How would you this is actually one that Caitie wrote down, but it's how would you pitch a TTRPG or a game like this to someone who's like never played before? Like, how would you be like, yo, you about to have the best time of your life?
Do you want to read 200 pages of information and roll some dice with me?
They go, absolutely, I do.
Nothing about that sounds fun. I think for me, I have, like, with you all who had never played before. Yeah.
How did we meet?
Yeah, how did I get you all to play with me?
We were all in a show together.
We were in a show together. We had a common interest already. We enjoyed hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
And I knew that Sam had played before.
Yes, actually, I don't know if this is how it worked, but I think I had just heard that you all were talking about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was just feeling a little bit like, I also want to play. And so I I think I asked you about it very vanilla-y, like, are you guys going to play D&D? And then you're like, yeah, come over.
We'll just do it. So I think nowadays too, maybe like 6-7 years ago, pre Stranger Things, pre Critical Role, D&D,
pre Riverdale.
We don't talk about Riverdale. Riverdales and gargoyles, please. The still world of D&D was not as mainstream as it is now.
Yeah.
It was still kind of that like taboo thing that maybe we don't talk about it. We don't tell people.
Or like, D&D. Oh, you play D&D. Yeah. Like how my stepdad feels when like he talks about he has like a long running campaign with some of his friends that he grew up with. And I don't think it's on the D&D system, but it's a TTRPG. And when he talks about it, or my mom, she's very just like, little Mike and his game, and I'm like, this is so cool, tell me all about it.
But now that I think it's more mainstream, it's a little bit easier to be like,
yeah,
you should play, you should try. I can run something that's super low stakes and really easy. And now too, with the D&D like having their pre-written boxes that have the characters already made, that's a super easy way to get people involved, to be like, look, you don't even have to read anything, here's your character already made, just follow the things that are on here.
Just give it like a test run and feel it out,
and 9 times out of 10 they'll come back because they have a really good time punching goblins in the face.
They have a really good time looking at that very attractive vampire and they want to see some more.
I always put a hot vampire in your game. That would keep them coming back.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what am I saying? We asked this of Emily, but also I'm curious what your answer is. What out of like all the different aspects of TTRPGs, like what is your favorite? Like what's your favorite part?
Dice.
Just the dice. Just
collecting all the
more
dice.
math rocks, please.
Actually, do you still have like a box?
Yes. I don't know where it is because I've moved like 3 times now.
Yes, I remember a box being on the table, and you and Connor, our other friend Connor, who was playing with us, he brought a giant bag, and he was like, "Oh, you don't have a set? Here, just pick some colors that you like."
Yeah, I now have the Laura Bailey dice bag.
Oh my gosh,
that's great!
It is pretty full. I had a friend just
gonna have to buy a second one
for Christmas. That was one of the like, it's a pack that you open and you don't know what dice are in it. It's a mystery pack thing.
Yes.
And I opened it and I poured them out on the table, and they're red, white, and blue with stars. And I was just
I don't,
America.
I don't really need this. I'll take the stars.
This is the most American set of dice. So now I have to make a Captain America character.
Oh my god, that'd be super cool. Oh, that would work really well.
But in truth, I think
that's America's dice set.
Is my favorite aspect of the game. Okay. I could give or take combat. It's fine.
Sure.
But those moments where you get to actually really get into a cool conversation with your other players or an NPC, yeah. But I'm an actor, so.
Follow-up question that I just thought of just now. Okay, let's say you have some people at your table who are like nervy about role-playing or struggle to make decisions, quote unquote, in character. How do you help them through those moments?
For me, I think it's asking questions. This group that I play with now had, and even the one that I play in person with on Thursdays and Sundays, we've had a couple people who like were just nervous about the role-playing side of things.
Right.
Because I think initially, especially with things like Critical Role, where everybody does amazing voices, and you're like,
and they're all professional voice actors, and
people watch that and they're like, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
Voices.
Yep.
And I think just relieving that pressure of you don't have to do a voice, but just my character's going to ask you a question right now and answer me back how you think that they would answer.
Yeah.
And just sort of being the catalyst to start those conversations. Because I think it's also very easy to just let the people who are comfortable role-playing handle all of the role-playing, but really being intentional about bringing those other people in helps them relax and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. We've had a episode that is not released yet, but it's the importance of other players' voices.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about was just like, collaborate with me, damn it.
Oh,
like
yes.
Being like the one of a few people who are loudest or are most comfortable role playing and just being like, I want to role play with other people.
I want to not just role play with Caitie, and Caitie doesn't want to just role play with me.
Right. But that's a great point of just like being direct and being like, okay, now it's your turn.
I'm going to ask you a very specific question. I want you to just think about it for a second.
I would like you to dump your entire backstory on me.
Please.
Tell me everything about you.
Hand it over, moody boy.
And sometimes I legitimately play characters like that, and that's just part of what they would do.
Sure.
Yeah.
My little gnome, she would just walk up to anybody and be like, tell me everything about you.
Spill it.
That's great.
Hand the tea over, sweetheart.
Do you have any other questions, Soren?
I don't.
Okay.
I think
rapid
that's...
fire?
Yes, rapid fire. Did you...
I didn't write them down.
I love that. Well, go ahead. What is your current favorite spell?
Great.
Ooh.
It can be from any system. It can be from a video game.
I am really loving Fairy Fire right now. I think it's highly underutilized.
I love Fairy Fire.
But also one of the most powerful spells in the game.
I love Fairy Fire too. Okay, what was another...
What's your favorite drink?
Thank you.
Like...
Beverage
in general.
Yeah.
Sparkling water. The winter sangria flavor from Trader Joe's.
And she also likes...
I do like
this LaCroix.
But the winter sangria from Trader Joe's is the best flavor.
Ooh, that sounds good.
We already asked one of them, which is your number one tip, so we're gonna skip past that.
Yes.
It was. Oh, do you have a catchphrase?
Oh yeah, it's Laura Lynn's catchphrase.
I would say our catchphrase is "Do we level up?" because we say it at the end of
yes.
How about now?
Do we level up?
Yes. And because we haven't done we haven't had a guest who has other things to plug, but is there anything that we can plug for you? Is there anything you're working on that you want to talk about? So
right now we are still in season 1 of Do We Level Up podcast. Totally homebrewed world called Galandria. We're fighting liches, and I can't say other things because there might be spoilers. I can't even remember where I'm at because we've only released 60 some episodes, but we have well over 100 because I'm slow. And then I also stream with Durnk Industries on Twitch, so that's DURNK Industries. On Twitch they stream Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. A variety of things, mostly Pathfinder and Vampire the Masquerade right now.
Okay.
Which is very interesting.
Well, we'll go ahead and if you can send us the links to some of those, we can drop those in the description of the episode. Where can they find Do We Level Up? Where can they find that podcast?
Anywhere podcasts are streaming.
I almost said anywhere podcasts are sold.
If you want to give us money.
Hand it over. Awesome. Well, yeah. Well, before we close out, thank you so much for coming and cuddling on the couch with us. Cora is grateful. Holy moly. I'm sure when TJ's editing this, he'll be like, I have to edit out Cora's purrs because I can hear them.
Loud.
She's like, okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to go hit the tree some more. That's it for us this week. Thanks for spending time with us today, and thanks to Noah Trumbull for the use of his music as our theme song. There's a link to his Instagram in the episode description, so be sure to give him a follow. Stay up to date on all of his music and his band Pearl Parade. And then that's all I needed to say.
If you're enjoying the show, we would love it if you would leave us a review. It helps other people find us. Second, follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube now. Hit that subscribe button, the bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
Lastly, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We're also on Twitter, but why? Who knows? Make sure you see us when the episode drops. We don't post anything there. Like,
Not
why
anymore.
do we still have that?
Hey, we don't want somebody else to hop onto X and like steal the Chromatic Rose's handle.
Yeah, we have to at least have it, you know?
It's ours.
So yeah, be up on all of those so you know when episodes drop and what we're doing.
Outside of that, when you come follow us, we want to hear from you. So if something came up today in the episode that made you think, or you have a question, or you have an idea for a future topic that you want to hear about, please tell us, because that's the only way that we can continue to generate content or things for you. Look, I made you some content. Sorry.
You're doing great.
Even if you just want to say hi,
yes,
please just come say hi. We like it when people say hi.
It's
Stole
true.
that from the Lore podcast. But our email is chromaroses@gmail.com. You can spell that CHROMAROSES@gmail.com. It's all lowercase. And we can't wait to hear from you. We love hearing from you guys, and we appreciate you being here and hanging out on the couch with us.
This has been Chromatic Roses. I'm Caitie.
And I'm Soren. Fight evil and love others.
Hey, love you. Bye.